Hey everyone, how's it going? Eli back again, and today we're going to talk about speaker identification. Speaker identification is a way that you can use Speechmatics to enroll a voice, your own or someone else's, using a 5 to 30-second audio clip, and then you can upload the hash that's returned in either batch transcriptions or in real-time sessions to identify the speaker from the enrollment period and label them accordingly. Today, we're going to walk through how you can do this with real-time speaker identification. So creating that hash and then uploading it into a session, which you can then use to identify a speaker's voice, in this case, mine. So there are really two steps involved with speaker ID. The first step is enrollment. Enrollment is essentially generating that identifier or unique hash to align with the speaker's voice. And you can do this really simply with a 5 to 30-second audio file. So why don't we take a look now at how we can do that? And I have right here a Python example of this exactly. So we'll be importing a couple packages from Speechmatics specifically, and then we have a couple environment variables or parameters up here, an API key, which I'm going to delete after this video is completed, but essentially you'll need an API key, you'll want a file. In this case, it's a video or a short audio clip of me talking about Lord of the Rings for like 20 seconds. I then have the language set to English, and I have the connection URL to one of our EU endpoints. We'll then use some of these variables to enroll the actual speaker, in this case me, from the audio file, leveraging the English language, speaker diarization, the API and connection URL I mentioned. And of course, this will generate a speaker identifier, which I can then use subsequently in new sessions to actually identify my voice and label it accordingly. So I'm not just generic speaker one, but I'm Eli in subsequent sessions. So why don't we run this, and we can go here. And if I run this program, it takes just a second, but you'll see that we get returned a speaker identifier with the label S1, and then the actual hash, which is a bunch of different characters and numbers together that I can then copy and then put into my subsequent file. And it's worth noting as well that what I'm doing here, this script that I'm using, it's mostly what we have in our documentation. So you'll be able to find it really easily if you go back down here and look at some of the Python code examples that we have for enrollment. Now I'm going to take this label and then put it into a speaker identification script that I have. So give me one moment and we can go find that section here. This speaker identification script is a little augmented from the one that we provide in our documentation. The one in our documentation would have you transcribe from a file, but I thought it might be more interesting in real time to see me speaking through the microphone and then have that output so you can see it really is my voice that is being recognized and then labeled accordingly. Just like our last file, or rather script, we're going to have some environment variables up top in the Speechmatics libraries that we're importing. We also have some of the additional libraries for transcribing from the device, my microphone of my Mac. I have some of the configuration settings here for English speaker and then the diarization config. So this is the real special area that we want to pay key attention to here for actually leveraging speaker identification. Essentially, we have this object here for speaker diarization config, and then an array that exists within the speakers section here. And each object can be a different identifier. So in this case, right, it's just me. I want to label myself as Eli and then put that identifier that we mentioned earlier or that we saw and generated earlier right into the other part of the object here. You can actually add in multiple identifiers as well. So you'll notice this is actually an array. So if you wanted to generate or build a more robust speaker identifier for a specific label, you can do it with multiple different identifiers. And additionally, you can have multiple speakers, right? In this case, it's just me speaking, but we could add additional objects into the speaker array if we wanted to identify not just one speaker, but multiple speakers on the call. So without further ado, why don't we run this and we'll be able to print, hopefully, the transcription that is coming from the actual Python script along with the label showing that it is actually me speaking. So I will start transcribing, and I don't know what the max delay I set was. Oh, there we are. We are seeing the words come through and that the label is Speaker Eli every time. I probably could have done this in a slightly more neat fashion, but it actually is interesting to show that on an individual or transcript to transcript level, we are identifying the speaker label, putting it appropriately, and it is indeed me that's being added in there. So that really is that. It's as simple as just creating the identifier with a short 5 to 30-second audio clip, getting the hash back, and then loading it up in subsequent sessions with the labels that you see fit. There's a lot you can do with it. It can be used for so many different things that are, I think, really exciting and interesting. Really keen to see what you come up with, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.